Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. And today, a little late, we're going to talk about the national championship game, the women's tournament. I didn't really watch the men's. Gotta be honest. But I watched the women's for sure. And I watched a lot of the women's tournament. A good amount of the big games. Pretty much all the big games. So I just want to talk about this great game. This game that averaged 18 million views. Had the highest peak at 24 million. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, my South Carolina Gamecocks beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 87-75. And I was so excited, man. I really was. I wish I could have made the video in the moment. But you know how college is, so probably shouldn't have watched the game then. But I did. Alright. And I think this game was so good, first of all. I mean, you start out the game, Caitlin Clark, 18 points in the first quarter. It's like an immediate punch to the gut. And they got the momentum. The fans, I felt like there were more Iowa fans there. They pack a crowd. And it was so loud. They got that tempo, right? And that's how Iowa wins games. They have tempo. But at the end of the day, it's okay, you guys got one player that can beat us. Alright? And this is where LSU really did not do well, right? It was they threw Haley Van Lith on her and said, we're just gonna close out everything else, but you can get yours. That's fine. And the thing about Caitlin Clark is you can't do that with her because she can single-handedly win a game, right? So South Carolina being the top defensive team in the league, it's like we're gonna make sure we got all of y'all, all right? And we're gonna put Raven Johnson when stuff isn't working out. We're gonna put Raven Johnson on you, and she is going to clamp in, and boy did she. She held Caitlin Clark to 3 points total, something about shooting. It was some crazy number, and she just could not get her. She was in her face the whole game, picking her pockets, just suffocating, not giving her good shots. And then the rest of the defense took care of the rest. And it was just okay, you got the Caitlin Clark element down, so now everything works off from there. And I think depth was a huge thing because South Carolina, their bench pieces were the reason they won, right? You had Tessa Johnson with 19 off the bench. She's a freshman, y'all. Another freshman is Mylasia Full-Wiley, who 9 off the bench, and she could have had more. She's going to be a few more years of development, man. Even next year, she's going to be so good. You can see the glimpse, and you can see she's so close. She's so close. These crazy behind the back go up to the layup, and she's almost finishing all of them. And once she gets a consistent finish, it's going to be what are you going to do? Right? And it's going to be so exciting to watch her development. And so I think it was North Carolina had 37 off the bench, and Iowa had 0. And you must think, oh, they don't have a good bench. Well, they don't have a bench. They played 7 people. Yeah. They played 7 people. Put some people out in the end who didn't really log any minutes. But it's really, you played 7 people. And the 2 people mainly off the bench didn't really contribute. And it's you've been doing this all tournament, and there's only so much energy. And you're going to get burnt out, and now and especially when you're playing a team, because that works with UConn when they're in a worse situation, because they have to be, because everyone else is hurt. That bench is more full of jumpsuits that people can't play, and then players on the bench. But when you play South Carolina, who can just rotate people off the bench and they can all kill you. They're all killers. And it's crazy. It really is. That you don't even try to rotate more players to get some rest. I guess you can't let up, right? You don't have a choice. But it's just like, so what are you going to do? It just became a what are you going to do situation, especially when Caitlin Clark stopped producing like she did in that first quarter. And then, obviously, the big reason why South Carolina won was Camila Cardoso. And it's so fascinating because her performance was so good. Like, she's a vacuum for rebounds, man. She pushed right up, got it. Because she's just bigger than everyone else. And she's still going to be one of the tallest players when she gets to the WNBA. Now, there are going to be more players her height than she's seen in college. But she's still going to be one of... She's going to be a huge threat, right? And it's just like her dominance of just relentless finishing. Like, if she misses, she's going to... Doesn't matter how many times she's missing. She's putting that in. Or Chloe Kitts is coming up from the back to also put it in. So it was just the relentless finishes at the basket. And the thing with Camila, she played so well. A top 3 draft order we thought was going to happen with Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink, Rakia Jackson is like, does Camila even make it to 3? Do you take her over Cameron Brink? It's like she threw a wrench in what everyone thought was probably a predictable top 3, and she would go 4. Now it's like, man, what's the way to go here? And as a Chicago fan, I was very pro drafting Rakia Jackson just because of her motor, and I could see you building a team around her. I wanted to watch more film on her. I might make some content on that. We'll see. The draft is Monday, so I don't got a ton of time. But I wanted to look and see like what's a better fit for our team. Do you bring like a dominant paint presence in Camila, who can probably, like, if she can put like a jump shot together, not even say she gotta shoot threes, just like she's Joel Embiid. It's like, so maybe that's the way you go, right? And it's just crazy how these tournaments one game can change the outlook of everything for a right reason. I think that's the craziest part. So yeah, I just want to talk about this tournament as a whole, how great it was, how entertaining it was. Personally, my favorite game that wasn't my favorite because it was me being a fan of my team was the Stanford-Iowa State game with, like, Audie Crooks and Cameron Brink. Like, you expect those to be the 2 best, right? Cameron Brink fouls out. Audie Crooks just gets shut down and just can't produce that game. And it's everyone else coming back and just killing. I mean, just shot for shot, and it goes to overtime, and it was like 12 at night, and I was at the edge of my seat because of how good that game was. The lineups were so good of the games. The night we had the Iowa LSU game, and then right after that we had USC UConn. It was just like, it's like, this is what you expect for an NBA slate, for like a pro, like this team, like juggernaut matchups where they like manually piece together. These are teams that showed up. These are teams that made it. And they created these marquee matchups for us, and it was so entertaining. It was so good. It was so cool to see the world pay attention. I obviously have some gripes about how some of the attention was spent and focused. If you want me to go into that, I just did a video last. Go check out my previous video right before this one. I go into the whole thing. It's titled the Great Kate Debate is on the picture caption. So check it out if you want to get into that. I think it's an important debate. Not even debate, just conversation. But in general, I think it was so cool to see the attention put on these women that work so hard and have worked hard for generations. This isn't new, right? This isn't them just starting to play good. The product has always been there. So it's been cool to see these ladies get their just due. And I'm so excited for the future of women's basketball. I think that's why I'm so excited for Monday, to see the attention the draft gets and to see how exciting that's going to be. So yeah, let me know what you think about the tournament. Let me know what your favorite games were. How'd your team do? Bracket challenge. My brackets didn't do great overall, but if you look back at my bracket videos, I picked both winners. That's all I'm going to say. I picked both winners. All right. Like, subscribe, share, please. We're doing great, man. Road to 100 subs. Peace out.